That's a very fair point. All right, let's get our final predictions in for this game here on the Locked On College Course.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And once again, thank you for making any Locked On podcast your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there for tuning in and subscribing to the show. Make sure you go find Zach over there at Locked On Auburn and hear all of his smack talk before this game. And you can also listen to me and John over at Locked On Sooners giving even more smack talk beforehand.
I've been pretty tame this week, actually.
I've been proud of you.
I've been pretty tame this week. I think you
very
guys have
surprising
more smack than I am this week.
I think it's probably going to turn up on Friday because that's when you're supposed to do it, like right before the game. That way, people can't really use it against you.
Baylor people just bring it out of you. I mean, it's just a whole different thing when it's Baylor. So I don't know.
Yeah, we all hate Baylor in very similar,
that's fine. Sure.
similar firms. All right, final predictions though. This game is going to come down to me to a few possessions. It's going to come down to turnovers. It's going to come down to who actually establishes a run game because, as you mentioned, Zach, John Mateer's game is passing and rushing, and then Oklahoma's trying to figure out who their RB1 is. We'll see if Tory Blaylock can put another 100-yard game in. So let's start with there, man. John, what's your final prediction for this game? What do you think Oklahoma's going to do to win this game?
Yeah, I like Oklahoma 31-17 in this. I think Brent Venables' defense is going to be a little bit too much for Jackson Arnold. They're going to stop the run enough. I mean, Auburn will get some runs going, but it's not going to be a significantly big day for the Auburn rushing attack. And John Mateer, you want to keep him in the pocket, that's fine. He's going to be able to find guys down the field. Again, a much better receiving core than what Oklahoma had last year because guys are healthy. And he's done a lot of really good work in the intermediate middle part of the field. Auburn was susceptible to the pass to Sawyer Robertson. I like Oklahoma to have a big day throwing the football against Auburn's young secondary. And then Tory Blaylock has another strong day for the Oklahoma Sooners. I don't necessarily think he goes for 100 yards, but it's efficient enough to keep Oklahoma on schedule in this one.
Zach?
If all that happens, I don't think your score prediction's wide enough. Just to be honest, I feel like y'all will win by more than 2 touchdowns if all that happens. But yeah, I think the only way Auburn doesn't get a running game going is if another slow start happens. Then obviously if Oklahoma kind of jumps on them early and they look up and it's like 14-0 or whatever, I think that's the only way Auburn doesn't really get a running game going. But if they can limit Mateer early, or even if Auburn could start quickly themselves, they have not done that for their first 2 games. They did it against South Alabama, but whatever. Can you do it on the road in Norman? That's what matters. And we'll see. We'll see what that mentality looks like. There's been this spoken confidence throughout the Auburn program, and Eric Singleton mentioned it in some media availability earlier in the week, that they haven't really rolled out much of their passing attack. Like a lot of that stuff has kind of been kept close to the vest. They're going to they haven't put a lot on film. And if you're Auburn, you got to hope that's true. And you got to hope that you're able to roll that out and, maybe kind of get Oklahoma preparing for something different. We'll see. But I'd be surprised if Auburn didn't get a running game going unless it was, that situation that I just mentioned. I'm going to go lower scoring in general than you guys. I'm going to go 27-24 Oklahoma right now. I started the week a little bit. I think I said 27-17, but I'm getting it closer and closer, and we'll see. Tomorrow's edition of Locked on Auburn, I may switch. We'll see. But I think it's going to be close, and then I think it's going to come down to a big play. Whoever makes the big play in the fourth quarter. And right now, I like Mateer's odds to do that more than Arnold's as we currently have this conversation.
Well, what's interesting there, Zach, is Arnold hasn't turned the ball over. Oklahoma hasn't forced a turnover. Is it the setting for a perfect storm and we get one of each? We get the ice broken a little bit on the turnover game.
Yeah, I mean, probably, right? I mean, I think both teams are probably going to force turnovers in this one because I think both defenses are pretty good in this one. So we'll see exactly what that looks like. But part of this, and some of the frustration of Auburn fans, I don't know if they're saying it exactly like this, but some of the questions for Jackson has been holding on to the football a little bit too long. And I think he did a better job of that against South Alabama. But he's not turning the ball over. He's making it concise effort to take care of the football. And I don't think he's going to do as much of the drop back stuff as what they called in the first two games. I think it's going to be much more RPO heavy and, running the football heavy. So I don't know. Like, I think they're kind of calling stuff around him to like make sure he doesn't turn the ball over, and almost like being afraid of turning the football over. Some places have labeled him as timid in doing so. I'm not quite ready to commit to that word yet, but there's certainly an argument for it.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I think a lot of people kind of saw out of Jackson Arnold, or kind of feel about him this season, that it's been a little bit of quote unquote timidness with it or whatnot, because there is a player right behind him that everybody thinks, for the most part, could be considerably better in Deuce Knight. Is there a chance that we'll see him on the field in this game if things do not work out? No. Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. For me, like Jackson, he's got all the tools in the tool belt to be fantastic. Some of it is I don't want to turn the ball over, so I'm not going to throw it. When he's got the dudes on the outside to just throw it to and let them go make a play, for better or for worse. If you get picked off, you get picked off. But you got to give a guy like Cam Coleman a chance. You got to give a guy like Eric
long
Singleton
and you're on your own 40 or whatever, and Cam's on a go round. I'm like, just throw it.
Just
like,
throw it.
Okay.
See what happens.
Either he doesn't catch it and we punt, or they catch it and you're still flipping the field. Like,
right.
It's a punt.
I bet we see a few of those.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
And so some of the biggest issue last year was kind of situational awareness sometimes, where just trying to do too much with the ball, stuff that's not being designed.
Talking about situational awareness with quarterback. I mean, how about old buddy throwing a pick six against you guys when the game was over? Talk about situational awareness at quarterback. Like, goodness gracious.
Yeah. I mean, so in a sense, that's much better. I mean, you're
so much better.
You need to just need to hand the ball off, guy. Peyton Thorne's got to hand the ball off. So, and that to me, I think that is a better. Like, Auburn's a better team than what they were last year. Oklahoma's a better team than what they were last year as well.
100%.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with both of you. So I'm gonna give my final prediction. I'm kind of with you, Zach. I think it's gonna be a little bit closer. It's funny if Oklahoma does get 27 points again for 2 years in a row, but I think it's gonna be closer to 28. But I'd say 28, like 21. I think Oklahoma does cover one of the many spreads that's out there. It's been fluctuating between 3.5 and 6.5. We'll see what it looks like on Friday when everybody dumps their actual money on the game.
Just real quick, Jay, one critique with that score prediction is I don't see any world with these defenses where field goals don't play into this. I think red zone defense is going to be crucial for both these teams, and I think both these teams are likely to get stops in the red zone. So that's part of my thought process.
I can see that. Let's go with 19 to let's go 25 to 19.
The most standard score,
18 to 12.
25 to 19. We'll go with something ridiculous in that capacity. Yeah. All right. That's Zach Blackerby from Locked on Auburn.
What a pivot.
John and me from Locked on Sooners. Also, for your next listen, it's also a big moment here on Locked on College Football Fans. Locked On and Fire TV presents College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, and former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local expert. You may see one of us on that episode later today. You never know.
I'm on it.
A college football preview only Locked On can do. So catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. That's John Williams for Zach Blackerby. Thank you for joining us for another crossover edition and fight on the Locked On College Crossover.
Jackson Arnold forever.
Boomer Sooner.